All right, what's up, guys? TGIF. Happy Friday. What's going on? Friday, July the 22nd, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in. We have got a lot to get into here on this Friday, and I'm very excited to chat with each and every single one of you. I see Brendan M., Noah Johns, Connor, Travi, Connor McCormish. What's going on? Thank you all so much, man. Also in the Big Cock Club Discord. Head over to the TDC Questions channel. The TDC Questions channel. Be sure your questions are answered there, guys. Hopefully, the expectation is that by Monday, when Steven Garcia is on the show, this studio is going to be a lot more put together. I've got some floating shelves, if you're familiar with what floating shelves are. I don't know if everybody knows what floating shelves are. I got some floating shelves that are in the mail. I got a buddy of mine bringing another desk over. We're mounting a TV. I'll be doing a lot of work in this studio this weekend, so we're going to get that all set up. Of course, we got Steven Garcia on the show on Monday. A lot of exciting things that are happening. Guys, before we get going, I do want to tell you about our friends. Of course, the Daily Crow is brought to you by our friends over at Carolina Ale House, and we were just there last night at the Carolina Ale House Somerville location, kicking off the TSUS tour. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much to all of those who came out to the tour. Shout out my guy Hunter, by the way, with Gatling Images. Tons of great pictures from the event that I have posted to social media. I'll be posting even more on Twitter, but posted a ton of those images to Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. You might have seen yourself on some of those images. So we had a really, really good time. I really appreciate those that came out and supported and showed love. And again, it was a great night of fellowship and fun. And we'll do Myrtle Beach next week. And the full schedule is on social media, pinned to our social media. But of course, again, guys, our friends over at Carolina Ale House, they make a lot of what we do possible. Be sure to check out your local Carolina Ale House location. They're all across the state. They're in Augusta. You guys already know. Over 65 beers on draft. Great food, great people as well. They've got plenty of TVs, so you can go in there and catch a ball game, whether it's South Carolina, whether it's somebody else. You can do that. So, again, check out our friends over at Carolina Ale House. Be sure to head in there and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. T-Man says, what's your favorite food at the Ale House? Ooh, that's tough because they've got so many good options. Man, I'm not just saying that to say that. They really do have they've got literally everything you can think of. Also, really excited, guys, to announce, you probably saw last night, our guy Brendan getting things fired up already in the TDC Questions channel, in the Big Cock Club Discord. Appreciate you, Brendan. You guys probably saw the Ale House. We had the Beamer Ball towels on sale. I was planning on having those posted to the online store before we went live here. The reason that I did not, well, I didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. last night because I drove back from Somerville, had to record the podcast when I got back, did the editing. So I did not go to bed till like 3 a.m., so woke up a little bit late this morning, literally in the works right now, getting up right after the Daily Crow, like within 15 minutes, I'd say, after the Daily Crow. These towels will be available. What towels, you might ask? Well, these bad boys right here. The Beamer Ball rally towels, the Beamer Ball rags, whatever you want to call these. These are available. These will be available. Hey, they're going to be $5 if you don't want to pay shipping and handling. I'm going to have these at every single event, every Carolina Ale House tour stop, every watch party, every tailgate. For those who want to go ahead, purchase, or maybe you're not in the state of South Carolina or what have you, that's totally fine. Like I mentioned, right after the Daily Crow, I'm getting these uploaded to the store, and we will be taking online orders, and I will be shipping these out. Again, I'm very happy. Give you one more look. These things turned out fantastic. This is a must-have. Again, I know USC gives out free towels at every single football game, but why not have your own Beamer Ball towel, man? These things are incredible. Like I said, my guy Rob, shout out to Rob, Sitting Pretty Print Shop. Love Rob because he's a one-man shop like me. He's a one-man operation. He's a small business, and we're working together. And yeah, absolutely incredible, man. So Justin Langford, it is the Beamer Ball towel. Right now, we're running the Beamer Ball towels. We might do another run with a different logo, but right now, this is the guy we're going with. I'm very excited. Would love to see 80,000 of these at Williams-Brice Stadium. But either way, these are on sale again at all of our events, $5 a pop. $5 a pop at all of our events, our tailgates, anywhere I have any sort of event, I will have these on me. And a little bit later today, right after the Daily Crow, we will have these available via the online store. So if you want to purchase them, you'll have to pay shipping and handling, obviously, because shipping's not free, but I can get these shipped out to you. Christian Carver bringing up the news. Yes, let's get into it today. The media dropping their preseason picks as well as all SEC teams. The Gamecocks, by the media, picked to finish 5th in the SEC East. Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, then South Carolina, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. I'm not sure that's really the biggest storyline, though. I feel like the biggest storyline is this. Georgia, of course, led the way with first place votes with 172. Kentucky picked up 4. Tennessee picked up 1. Florida picked up 0. South Carolina in 5th picked up 3. Wonder who those 3 people were. Missouri picked up 0. And then the Vanderbilt Commodores. Somebody out there, some brave soul picked Vanderbilt. One person picked Vanderbilt to win the SEC East. On the West, it's Bama, A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State, Auburn getting picked to finish 7th. How about that? Bama with 177 first-place votes, A&M with 3, Arkansas with 1. And then, of course, Alabama picked to win the SEC championship. Bama picked to win the SEC championship. Let's see. Bama with 158 votes. Georgia with 18. How about South Carolina? 3 votes to win the SEC. How about that? Who in the world did that? Texas A&M with 1. And Vanderbilt gets 1. Yeah, and people want to talk to me about credentials and how big of a deal that is. Bro, somebody picked Vanderbilt to win the SEC. Means a whole lot, I guess, huh? I mean, anyways, though, Gamecocks picked 5th by the media. In regards to the preseason all-SEC team, 4 Gamecocks named to that team. Defensive lineman Zach Pickens, 2nd team. Defensive back Cam Smith, 2nd team. Wide receiver Josh Vann, 3rd team. And tight end Jaheim Bell on the 3rd team. Again, guys, I don't really have any problems with the selections. You know, you can say that somebody was disrespected, this, that, whatever. And, you know, I could see the argument, but the preseason media teams, they're all great for talking points and all that, but really just not a big deal. Like it's when has the media ever been right about anything? So not really a big deal, just a fun talking point. But that is how the media, that's how they see the SEC playing out. Panic Ritter says, why did you leave Tin Roof? I'm sad. Ritter, in case you missed it, I moved to Greenville, South Carolina. So that is the reason that I am no longer doing the Tin Roof shows. The last one will be Wednesday, August the 3rd. And while it is sad, again, man, I think it's going to open the door for other content possibilities, big Cock Club content possibilities that I'm really fired up and excited about. But that is why. That is why. I just could not swing doing the hour-and-a-half drive there and back every single Wednesday. Lance, my guy, I know you said you are busy next week for the Myrtle Beach location. The Columbia Tin Roof stop will be Tuesday, August the 30th. Tuesday, August the 30th. That is the week of the Georgia State game. Looks like Rebecca is in the chat. Rebecca, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, Justin, no, listen, the towels, we're doing Beamer Ball right now, but certainly a Shane Storm towel would be sick. A Beamer Rattler towel would be sick. I just did Beamer Ball, obviously, because it is our top-selling piece of merch ever. It's a very popular slogan. I have the trademark. That also helps. And just kind of piggybacking off the positive momentum that is Beamer Ball and everything we have going on with that side of the merchandise. I do want to say again, guys, thank you so much for the love and support on the merchandise side of the business. We've been selling a ton of merch, man. We've been selling a ton of merch, and I feel like every time we drop a new piece of merch, it's almost like it's like another boost of momentum, right? Because there's some people that, believe it or not, there's some people out there. I had a lady last night that came to our show that she did not know I sold merch. I mean, it's wild. There's some people that still don't even know we have a store. They don't even know we sell merch, which, you know what is exciting because that means there's even more opportunity out there. So, but I just appreciate it, man. Every time I feel like we drop a piece of merch, there's like this boost of momentum, positive momentum that we pick up. And I mean, we had a huge day yesterday selling merchandise, so I appreciate you guys. Travis says, find any good barbecue spots up in Greenville. I'll tell you this, Travis. I went to Smoke on the Water the other night. That's a little bit of a upscale, a little bit of a bougie barbecue spot. Really good, though. Really good. Shout out my guy Kemper for having me out there. That was incredible. I've heard Henry's. He gave me the suggestions. He put me on. So we're going to get after it up here in Greenville. Wendy Wilkins, besides Van, what other wide receiver do you think will step up? Antoine Wells and Corey Rucker, the transfers, I think for sure. They will be big time. Christian Carver, if you beat Florida and Tennessee, that can get us to third in the East. Yeah, that is correct, Christian. That is correct. If you can take care of all the other games and also beat them, you will be third. That is a fact. Yes, that is a fact. Let's see. Jeff Gullidge saw the Georgia breakdown. I think Georgia's not as unbeatable this year as people keep saying. Yes, they have talent, but honestly, haven't they always had good players, yet we still beat them from time to time? Yeah, we are like the thorn in Georgia's side for whatever reason. We are that annoying gnat that just will not go away, right? We're that annoying gnat that will not go away. And so, I mean, listen, is it impossible, Jeff? It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's improbable. It's improbable, not impossible. Right? Not impossible. I look at that game. I've picked a loss, obviously, guys. And again, on today's podcast, what Jeff's referring to, we talked about the Georgia Bulldogs and we talked about that week 3 matchup a little bit. Georgia's still a very, very good football team. Georgia is they're elite. They're elite across the board. You know, I still look at Georgia as an elite football team. They've got talent all over the place. And so I don't think it's going to be a major drop off for them. Yes, they've got to replace a lot defensively, but they've got 5 stars on 5 stars on 5 stars. And so I don't think they're going away anytime soon. Georgia's here to stay, man. Georgia's here to stay for sure. But yeah, I mean, they are beatable. I mean, look at 2019, which I'll say this, 2019, that win against Georgia was probably the most inexplicable result in the history of South Carolina football when it comes to like the result of a game. I mean, really, true. Like that 2019 team had no business beating that Georgia team. None. Zero. That team stunk. That Carolina team stunk. I mean, you went 4-8. You can't deny it. You lost to Appalachian State. That team stunk, dude. So, you know, I will say this, though, for this year, because somebody asked me on the podcast, what would deem success against Georgia, right? The defending national champions. And the trap I don't want to fall into is moral victories. But you have to look at things realistically, where Georgia's roster is versus where your roster is. And it's not even close. It's not even close, right? And you have to recognize that. However, with that being said, that does not mean South Carolina can't make Georgia sweat. That doesn't mean South Carolina can't make it a fourth quarter game. That doesn't mean South Carolina can't go toe-to-toe with the Dogs and give them a competitive football game for 4 quarters. I think that's all South Carolina fans want to see. I don't think we have these crazy, unrealistic expectations that, in year 2 of Shane Beamer, we should be beating Georgia. I don't think we have, when you look at the schedule, nobody's picking Georgia. Most aren't, at least. No, not many are picking Georgia, if any at all, are picking South Carolina to beat Georgia. But even if you lose, it's how you do it. I think we can handle a respectable loss in which, again, you go out there for 4 quarters, you play your ass off. And if they've got better players than you, so be it. If they just flat out beat you, I can live with that. I think we can all live with that. What we can't live with is what we've seen over the last couple of years. And let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Lance, Claire.
Lance, what's up, man? How are you?
What's going on, man?
Dude, just hanging out, man. Chilling. What's up?
Oh, no, man. I hadn't called in a super long time. I figured call in, man.
It
sucks, man. I really wanted to be down there at the Myrtle Beach Ale House next Thursday night, but, my little girl's birthday and all.
No, yeah, dude, I hear you, man. Hey, take care of you got to take care of that, my guy. I totally understand.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna be in Columbia all now, the whole month of August leading up to game day, I'm actually getting out of duty on the 3rd. So I'm going straight from there to the game.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Love that.
So that's why I wanted to see what the date was for Cola, because I will definitely be down there after a whole month. It'd be good to get down there and unwind with you. Drink some lattes and talk some ball.
Yeah, we'll be down there Tuesday, August the 30th. So, yeah, we'd love to have you, man. Should be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That will work out perfect. My last week, too, everything will be winding down. So, yeah.
Dude, love it, man.
No, I just had one question. And
yeah.
It was, where does this come from with Rucker getting on the Bolitnikoff award list, man? That's wild.
Yeah, and it's not. I wasn't. I was happy to see it. I think I was just a little more surprised that Van or Wells or none of those guys were on it. I don't. I think some of the award lists are a lot of like whose names get submitted. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Rucker. I mean, I think that's awesome because it just shows, hey, he's a pretty decent, pretty good player, and I think he'll be obviously a positive addition for us. But yeah, I was just surprised that there was no Van and no Wells, but I don't know exactly how all those preseason award watch lists work, and if it's like, does somebody have to submit your name and all that, and so, but yeah, it's great to see Rucker. I mean, again, it's you bring back Josh Van, who did what he did last year. You bring in Antoine Wells, who was a record-setting wide receiver at James Madison, and now you say, well, Corey Rucker's on the preseason Bolitnikoff award watch list, so you should have some weapons, and you got Jaheim Bell, so you should have some weapons to work with. You feel like you do.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of weapons to go around.
Yeah.
The main problem with this team and it all coming together and gelling for this season, it's got to be on the lines of scrimmage. As you've talked many times before, I think that the defensive line and the offensive line has just got to pick it up. Not even be perfect, but just be a step or two better than they were last year. And I think the rest of the pieces will fall into place nicely. And I have this team right now. I know it's hype season. I know it's talking season. But right now, for me, off the lattes, I have us going, 8-4. On the lattes, you talk to me Tuesday the 30th, and I'm probably going to be looking more like after about 6 of them, about 10-2, 11-1. You know how it goes.
I love how we have an off the latte pick and then an on the latte pick. I love that. I love that. You never know what the pick will be when the lattes get flowing. Hey, and that's why we show up and show out on game day, because once you get to Seawells and get a couple lattes in you, all bets are off. Cox are winning by Cox by 90. That's it.
Cox by 90 all day, every day, baby. But anyway, I just wanted to get off here. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be watching the rest of the show, chiming in on the message.
Lance, I appreciate you, man. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Spurs up. Go Cox.
Go Cox. Thanks so much, brother. Great stuff. On the latte pick, off the latte pick. I love that. Instead of garnet glasses, it's just on lattes, off lattes. Love that. Love that. Our guy Lance, appreciate you calling it. Cody, what's up, man? Cody, appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate you coming out last night, my dude, for real. Thank you. Thank you. Again, also, all those in the Big Cock Club Discord, appreciate y'all tuning in the TDC Questions channel. We are rock and rolling. Hey, my first weekend, by the way, in the city of Greenville, because last weekend, my brother was in town from the Army, so I went back home to North Augusta, stayed there, did not, I just moved my stuff in on a Thursday and left, right? So first weekend in the city. Looking forward to it. Think we're going to step out and have us a good time, and should be a lot of fun. Again, though, the South Carolina Georgia game and what I'm expecting and what is success, and you don't want to live with moral victories. You don't want to say, oh, well, it's okay to lose and all that, but you have to look at games realistically, and you have to look at the rosters, and Georgia's so much farther ahead of you in their roster right now than you are. But give Georgia hell for 4 quarters. I think that's all we're asking for. Gamecock fans don't have unrealistic expectations. Give Georgia hell for 4 quarters. We can handle getting beat. We can handle, hey, you show up, you play football, you play good ball, and you know what? Georgia just had better players than you. They just beat you. That's cool. But going out and getting demolished, going out and getting from the opening snap, just getting crushed, hard to live with that. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Skyland Davis.
Skyland, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, buddy?
Just hanging out, man, chilling.
How's the life in the city?
Pretty good, man. I've stepped out once, but I've been pretty busy. So this weekend we'll get to kind of hang out, take everything in. I think a little bit more, but no, it's awesome, man. I'm loving it thus far. So.
Just wanted to call and give you some baseball insight. Looks like we'll be losing Josiah Slightner.
Mm-hmm.
And Wimmer met with coaches yesterday. I have not heard about what was talked about, I'm sure. So I do know one of the stipulations of Wimmer coming back was him being the starting shortstop.
Wimmer being the starting shortstop.
Yeah, because he felt like he got teams don't want him because they want to see him play short, and if he is a shortstop, that's why he fell so far in the draft. So he had the option to come back, and that's why he's talking with the coaches about becoming the starting shortstop and moving Braswell to second.
So Braswell to second. Okay. Well,
yeah. Now go ahead.
No, just interesting. I just I think you got to have Brazzy in the lineup, man. He's one of your most electric players. I think when you think of your your best nine, Braswell's got to be in there. I remember when you told me about Wimmer moving to short. When you told me about Wimmer moving to short, you got to have Brazzy in your lineup.
Yeah, but I don't think Wimmer's a shortstop, so I don't know if Kingston is going to tell him, hey, you don't have no chance to play short here. Then, of course, I think Wimmer turns pro. Or he'd be like, yeah, you come battle it out. I'll give you every opportunity to be our starting shortstop. And if you win it, we'll move Braswell to second. But as a freshman, as Michael Braswell, if you get, after being a freshman, you get moved, that just messes with your mentality. I think.
Yeah.
We do lose one high school commit, that Jacob kid. The pitcher, Eli, that did not get drafted, he put $1 million on his head. So he wanted $1 million or he was going to go to college. So he'll be coming to school. Noah Hall should be back. And I just think we lose Slightler and maybe Wimmer, depending on what Wimmer wants to do.
Right.
So,
well, I wouldn't blame Seitler. I mean, he had a great year, and I don't know, as improved as he is, does he really come back and have a better year? Does he have as much leverage? So, I wouldn't blame him at all if he decided to go, and so I mean, just like coming into this year was, next year it'll just be a completely different looking lineup, man. It'll be a completely different looking team. So,
right.
All the transfers.
Look out, July 31st. I think a big tree is going to commit to us July 31st. So that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
That's about the only thing I got.
Gotcha. Hey, what was the last thing you said? Sorry, my phone somehow switched over to my AirPods. I apologize.
Kamalo Taylor from Virginia, wide receiver.
Okay.
He should be committing to South Carolina too.
Gotcha.
That's about the only news I got.
Okay, fair enough.
But how do you think Keats has done in the portal?
I think he's done. I think he's picked up some good players, actually, when you look at it, bro. It's not even about that, though. It's just about the fact that I don't trust or believe in Kingston. I don't believe that Kingston is going to get the most, especially out of the bats. And I don't know what just happened. I think Skyland's call either dropped or I don't know what happened. But either way, I just don't believe that Kingston is going to get the most out of the bats he picked up in the portal. And I could be wrong, but, I was just talking about it with some people in the Big Cock Club Discord. Listen, I love baseball. I love baseball. You all know I'm a huge baseball guy. I could honestly live without talking about baseball until like January. I really could. And I hate to say that. But it's just the reality of where the program is right now. And yeah. So let's see. Our guy, Travis Allen. Chris, if we have a good season, say 8 wins, do you see Beamer and staff getting a nice raise? We all know people are going to be fired next year around the country. If we have a good season, I think we need to invest even more in Beamer. Travis, the only thing I'd say to that is this. And hear me out. Don't freak out when I say this, because we all love Beamer, right? I love Beamer. You love Beamer. We all love Beamer. I wouldn't put his name on merch if I didn't love the guy. We have given extensions and raises in year 2 before, and it has backfired. So I don't know that that's the play. I'm just saying we've done that before, and it did not go well, okay? At some point, yes, I agree, you have to invest in your guy, and you got to pay your guy. You got to make the financial commitment to your guy. Is it after year 2? I don't know that it's after year 2. I don't know. I'm just saying we've done that before, and we got burned. That's all I'm saying. Jeff Gullidge, the key to showing progress this season is for us to have a chance or opportunity to win the game and be competitive throughout the game against Georgia and A&M. Above all else, we must do that against Clemson as well. Yeah, again, we've talked about before, it's how you win, right? That makes the difference in this season, how you win. Well, it's also just about how you lose, too. Hey, we can live with not winning every game. Gamecock fans don't have these crazy, unrealistic expectations of we should go 12-0. But I don't think it's unfair and unrealistic to expect South Carolina, hey, if you lose to Georgia by 17, if you lose to them by 21, but play a competitive football game. I mean, there were just games last year and, of course, all throughout the Muschamp era. The game was over at the opening snap, and that just can't happen, right? You can sell being competitive, right? You go play A&M close. You go play Georgia close. You can tell, you go win 7-8 games and then play those teams close. You can tell these prospects, hey, we're just a piece or two away. We're just a couple pieces away, and you can be part of that. But when you're losing, 44-14, or you got 11 yards of offense in the third quarter, or you're losing by 27 points, it's hard to sell that you're close to doing anything, right? And you've got enough talent, in my opinion, to give Georgia, A&M, Clemson, everyone on your schedule a competitive game. You've got enough talent to do that. You're not as talented as Georgia. You're not as talented as A&M. You're not as talented as other teams on your schedule. You've got enough, though, to give everyone a competitive game. And now you've got a quarterback that should give you a chance in every game you play. So we've talked about a lot. It's about how you win in this season, right? Winning style points matter. Well, also how you lose. When we're talking progress, no such thing as moral victories, but the way you play is important. And so you look at that week 3 matchup against Georgia, that's how I view it. If you pull the upset, that's great. I mean, that's great. But if nothing else, give them a football game.
To accept.
Robbie, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I wanted to apologize to you first because I accidentally video chatted you last night whenever I set my phone down.
Oh, you're good, man. No biggie at all. You're good. All good.
But anywho, okay, I agree with you wholeheartedly, okay, that we have the weapons, okay, to pull up. Like I've said before, we've got the weapons, okay. But the question is, out of those weapons, who is going to show up every week and ball out of their mind? Obviously, we know Spencer Rattler can ball out. We know Jaheim Bell can ball out to an extent. But can he, Van, and everyone else ball out at the exact same time and play at that level from kickoff till the game is over? Can we do that every game, week in and week out? Honestly, I don't know. Could we do it? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. But we play in the toughest conference in the country. We're going to get everybody's best game no matter who we're playing against, including Georgia State. Because Georgia State, like I have said before, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face like a Smurf, and you've said it too, they have beaten SEC teams before. That game, I'm starting to get concerned about the game against Georgia State a little bit. I'm not even going to lie. I'm starting to get a little concerned. But I do believe that Beamer will have them ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he will. I wouldn't be surprised if he emphasized that Georgia State is not going to be a pushover. You're going to have to play very well in order to beat Georgia State. Because if we do not play well, it's going to be the Citadel game all over again. And I do not ever want to have another experience like that again.
Well, I tell you this, Robbie, I'll be honest with you. I'm not overly nervous about Georgia State. I'm more excited, I think, than anything, just because, again, last year, and I know we talked about this a little bit last night at Ale House, but last year against EIU, it was fun. I think it was the perfect opening game for the Beamer Ball era, and just an easy opponent. But it was kind of boring. I mean, right. There's no business for that game to be played. EIU didn't belong in the same.
It became a snoozer pretty quick.
Right. And we didn't learn anything about the football team. Let's just be honest. We didn't learn anything about Carolina from that EIU win.
No.
So I'm glad we're playing a team that has a pulse, that, like you said, Georgia State, they'll be well coached. Right. They'll be physical. They'll come in expecting to beat us. And, with that being said, though, I'm not nervous about the result in the sense that I fully expect South Carolina to win. I can't even fathom a loss to Georgia State. I just can't even fathom it. Now, could it be a little bit closer than folks prefer? Yeah, it certainly could. We could win that game by 10 points. I think people would be freaking out. I think early on it will be uncomfortable. I think early on it will be a tough physical game. I think it could be like a touchdown game at halftime. My thing is this: I just don't know how Georgia State is going to keep up with our athletes. Like at some point, man, like who in the world on that Georgia State defense is going to cover Jaheim Bell, is going to cover Josh Vann, is going to cover Antoine Wells, is going to cover Austin Stoddard?
Yeah, I see where you're
who do they have that's going to go toe-to-toe with those guys? Here's what could make this, if I'm speaking to you from the Georgia State perspective, if I'm saying, what does Georgia State have to do to pull the upset? Well, win on the line of scrimmage. They ran for 226 yards per game last year. They got Terrence Gregg and Jamias Williams, who we all know very well, back. Both guys are Doak Walker Award preseason on the watch list for that award, right? They are the two-headed monster in the backfield, right? So that offensive line's pretty good. Control the line of scrimmage, control the clock. Keep Rattler off the field. If he's not on the field, they can't, South Carolina can't score. Sustain long drives, run the football, impose your will at the line of scrimmage. Also, what they have to do, force turnovers. If they can force Carolina into a sloppy game, hey, we got all these weapons, but it's week 1, right? It's week 1. It might not be gelling and clicking like it will be in week 7, 8, 9 and week 1. Okay? So if South Carolina turns the football over, if they are flimsy on the line of scrimmage yet again, then hey, that might lead to a Georgia State victory, or it's going to lead to a really close football game. We're going to be looking up at the scoreboard in the fourth quarter, and it's going to be a touchdown game. We're going to say, oh, crap. You know what I mean? So, but I think as long as South Carolina plays a clean game, a fundamentally sound game, don't do anything to help Georgia State, right? You be the aggressor. Right. You be the setting the tone, if you will. I think that, again, I could see it being – and I would expect it to be like a 10-point game at halftime, maybe a 7 to 10-point game. But I just think as the game goes on, South Carolina's got way too many athletes, both offensively and defensively, and I think that will be the difference. I will say this. I see our guy Matt Jones in the Big Cock Club Discord in the TDC Questions channel. He says, shaking my head, Robbie, it's not going to be close, 49-13 final against Georgia State. I will say to those people, I'd love for that to be the score. I'd love for Carolina to score 50. I'd love for it to be like a 46-0 like EIU was. I don't see it playing out that way. I think Georgia State, they're not an SEC team, but they've got quality football players. And, again, Sean Elliott, chip on his shoulder, will have them ready to go. They'll have a good game plan. They're going to be physical.
And the players will have a chip on their shoulder, too, because they're playing.
Right. And Georgia State has gone into SEC venues, and they have beaten SEC teams before. They lost to Auburn by 10 last year. They've gone into Neyland and beat Tennessee. Right. So they will not be intimidated. They will not be intimidated. So I would expect a closer game. I mean, again, I picked a 20-point victory. I would be ecstatic with a 20-point victory. But so I'm not nervous about the game in regards to win-loss. I'm very intrigued about it, though, because game one, week one does not define you. It doesn't. You know, I've seen so many people saying, well, if we only win by 10, that's the rest of the season. Week one does not define the entire season, but it will be a great first look, I think, at, you know, where our strengths, weaknesses, what do these new athletes look like, how does Rattler look, obviously. So it's an intriguing game for sure, and a lot of very interesting storylines in that
one. Am I happy? Trust me, I'm very happy for Sean Elliott. Okay, but come September 3rd, I ain't gonna give a damn for 3 hours. For at least 3 hours, I'm gonna hate his guts.
I love it. I would expect nothing different, Robbie. I would expect nothing different.
So, I'm so ready for the month of July to get over with. Then we get into August. Once we get into August, it really starts to feel like football season.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited, man. We're very close. Again, we're 43 days away. 6 more Saturdays tomorrow. So I am very pumped, man, and just around the corner. And, you know, you'll get to whet your appetite a little bit, Robbie, in about a week and a half, because we're going to start the season simulation series on NCAA football. So we'll have some sort of football to watch. It may not be real football, but it's something. So, no, those are going to be a lot of fun.
I might be working next week at Zach's, by the way, because my boss just texted me and told me to bring my work clothes.
Okay. They need to pull in. They need to pull in the Hall of Famer. Sometimes you got to call in the Hall of Famer.
I'm Zaxby's Hall of Famer for those of you that don't know. Okay. So if you're ever going through Roebuck between 10:30 and 3 o'clock, pull into Zaxby's.
You know, Robbie, if it weren't for you, I would not even know that Roebuck exists. I would have never known there was a city in South Carolina called Roebuck.
That's where Roebuck is where Dorman High School is. That's Burns' rival, if no one knows. And so, anyways, but yeah, that's where Trust me, it's the only Zaxby's in Roebuck. So if you see a Zaxby's, that's the one.
You know what's funny about that, man? I actually I went to Zaxby's yesterday. I should have told you. I went to Zaxby's for lunch yesterday before I drove down to Somerville.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will die on the hill of Zaxby's over Chick-fil-A. I will die on that hill.
Hey, Zaxby's is better than Chick-fil-A as far as chicken goes.
I
But
just
the
10 times out of
atmosphere is
10,
better
I'd
than
rather
Chick-fil-A.
go get Zaxby's than Chick-fil-A. 10 times out of 10. It's not even close for me. Give me a boneless wings and things over a
There you
number
go.
one with
There,
no
yeah.
pickle
I knew
any
me
day
and
of the
you'd be
week.
good friends forever. There you go.
That's it. And my
Boneless wings and things.
and Robbie Davis is a
Yeah.
Hall of Famer there. Zaxby's has got me sold.
Yes, indeed.
I'll be waiting on the
I got a
check
plaque
from
to prove it. I
Zaxby's
got a
for
plaque
them.
to prove it, and there's one hanging in the store.
Yeah, I'll be waiting on my check from Zaxby's for promoting their ad on these here airwaves. We're gonna bring on Zaxby's as a new sponsor, presented to you by Zaxby's. Coming soon.
Oh goodness. But yeah, and a quick shout out to my nephew. Like I said yesterday, today is his birthday.
Happy birthday
So
to
he's
Robbie's
4
nephew.
today.
How about that? Happy birthday.
He's 4 today, almost a full hand, as I put it this morning. But yeah. And when the Daily Crow goes off, we're going to get him a haircut. So
Love it.
I will talk to you later. Glad you got home safe. Go Gamecocks. To heck with Clemson. You know what? They're a good school if you want to learn how to make groceries. Okay.
Mm.
But if you want to be a lawyer, you go to Carolina. Okay, that's where you go. You want to be a good lawyer, make a lot of money, you go to South Carolina. You want to learn how to make groceries, you go to Clemson. And I will sign off with that. Go Gamecocks. Have a great rest of your day.
Robbie, appreciate you, my man. Always a pleasure.
Yep.
Great stuff. Robbie Davis chiming in as always. How about this, by the way? We can talk more about this on the other side because we're about to jump into a break. But Sports Talk, Phil Kornblue, reporting revenue numbers for the 2020-2021 academic year. These are reported from Sportico. Here's what's really surprising about these. Is Clemson outperformed Carolina in like every revenue category. Gamecocks generated $36.1 million in football. Clemson, this is 2020 to 2021 academic year. Clemson, $42.6 million. South Carolina men's hoops, $7.4 million. Clemson's men's hoops, $7.6 million. Here's the one that's really surprising, and I don't understand it. South Carolina women's hoops revenue, $692,000. Clemson's women's hoops, $1.1 million. I don't compute how that's even possible. I don't know if these numbers are made up. I don't know if Sportico's full of shit. I like that. That to me, there's something about that doesn't seem right. I don't know. That doesn't seem right. Either way. I mean, I don't know how Clemson could have higher revenue numbers, especially in women's basketball, than Carolina. Babes and Waves, I don't know if you already addressed it, noted at SEC Media Days that the O-line coach missed a lot of time with the line. Yeah, we talked about this last night as well, Babes and Waves. But, yeah, I mean, Greg Atkins was going through it health-wise. He was going through it with his health. So to have him back full-time, I think, is obviously a huge thing. And, yeah, the O-line should improve, man. There's no question. The O-line should improve. 129 career starts. You have 7 guys that have started six or more games in a season. I mean, it should be better. It should be better. It should be better. There's no doubt. There's no question. Let's see. Lance Player going on record for the Georgia State game. He's got the score 38-24. Gamecocks will get the dub week 1 against Georgia State. Hey, guys, before you know it, you know what's really exciting? Before you know it, I mean, it's going to be game week, right? It's going to be game week. 6 weeks, I guess, from now. Or let's see. No, 5 weeks from today. 5.5, whatever. Very soon, it will be game week. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, guys, don't forget, by the way, Monday's show. The first ever show, and starting Monday, every Monday, from here on out for the college football season at minimum, Steven Garcia will join us on the airways for, say, 30 minutes. But every single Monday, that starts on Monday. Over the weekend, as we get closer, I will let you guys know the exact time he will come on. But Very excited for it, man. That's going to be incredible. Going to be the best content on the internet every single Monday. Content you do not want to miss. So cannot wait for that. Guys, we are rocking. We are rolling here on this Friday, kicking off the weekend in style. I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls as well. 843-790-3377. Want to continue to hear from you on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Rebecca asked, can we say hi to the phone on the phones to Steven Garcia? So let me go ahead and just get it out there and break your little heart today on this Friday. The phone lines will be closed when Steven Garcia jumps on the airwaves, because the whole point of Steven Garcia coming on with us each and every single Monday is not for him to take questions from the audience. So I'm going to go ahead and get it out there. Let's rip the Band-Aid off so there are no surprises, so you know what to expect when you tune in on Monday. The conversation between Steven Garcia and I is going to be just that. The phone lines will be closed for that 20 or 30-minute segment. So just go ahead and get that out there. Just going to go ahead and put that out there. Let's see. Yes, the Roach King will be joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I cannot wait. Again, that gets going on Monday. Also, again, like I said, guys, Carolina Ale House Somerville was a huge success. All my low country Gamecocks, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all showed up and showed out. Myrtle Beach, you're up. You got a tough act to follow. You are up Thursday of next week. Of course, guys, going into next week, the schedule will be normal, back more so to normal next week with the podcast, the Daily Crow, except for Thursday. We will not do a Daily Crow next Thursday because I will be making the 4-hour drive to Myrtle Beach. So obviously just will not have time to do it. Hey, Burton Campbell says, where can I order a Beamer Rattler 22 hat? TSUS.store. Somebody drop the link in there for him. TSUS.store, Burton, is where you can find that at. We've got a full Beamer Rattler collection, if I can say it. Also, by the way, I've got my merch guy working on this right now, getting this logo on black and garnet. I've heard your inquiries. I've heard your cries for this on garnet and black. So I've got my guy working on the logo right now. So my hope and expectation is by the end of the weekend, by Monday at the latest, I'd say, we will have these available in black hats, garnet hats, black shirts, garnet shirts, hoodies, all that good stuff. So it's an awesome logo. And the reason I put it on white in the first place was, sometimes, guys, you can offer too many variants, right? Sometimes you can offer too many options. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Why not just do white? It looks clean on white. It pops. We'll just do that. But I understand. I understand the desire, especially on black. Black's incredible. I love black merchandise. So shirts, hats, whatever, hoodies, looks really, really cool. So yeah, we will have that available. That's the plan, at least. John Edward, yeah, Fort Mill is going to be a lot of fun. Fort Mill will be a lot of fun. Cannot wait to see you there, my friend. Yeah, it's a great venue. Josh Travis, I find it interesting that TV personalities all saying Gamecocks will be second in the East, then straw poll release says we're fifth. Why do you think there's such a big difference? Well, because the TV personalities are just 3 or 4 guys, and the media is the media, and they operate the way they do. There's a lot of media guys that pick. And I mean, listen, man, Josh, I would say this. Do you not feel like a lot of the media guys are picking with bias? You can say they're not. Somebody literally picked Vandy to win the SEC championship. There's some bias in there, right? I mean, let's call it for what it is. All due respect, all respect to the media. Just because you're a media member and just because you have credentials, it don't mean you know what the fuck you're talking about. It just doesn't. Those two things do not equate. I mean, refer to the slapdick Georgia guy that asked Beamer the question about the Georgia tight ends. Refer to the slapdick that picked Vandy to win the SEC. What does having credentials mean? What does having that vote mean? So it is what it is. I'm not fazed by it in the slightest that the media picked the Gamecocks to finish fifth. So be it. You know what I mean? So be it. Yeah. I'm not fazed by it at all. I'm surprised a little bit that South Carolina was picked to finish below Florida, because from everything I had heard, it sounded like that. Florida. Not many people think that they're going to be all that good. So let's see. Coach Ford chiming in. We got 4 on SEC teams, 1 through 3, and that does not include Stogner nor Rattler. We too deep, they say. I can feel the sarcasm, Coach Ford, and I can feel the negativity. I hear you, man. I hear you. Only 4 guys on the all-SEC team. I mean, Coach Ford, I don't exactly remember what Coach Ford's prediction is. I know Coach Ford is skeptical. I know Coach Ford leans to the side of things that will not work out, the pessimistic side of things, and that's fine. That's fine. I respect it. I have no problem with it. But, I don't have any – it does not matter to me how many guys are on the all-SEC preseason team, and there's guys that are unproven that need to prove themselves, and that's a fact. But, it doesn't really – faze me at all. Coach Ford says, I'm predicting 7-5 best case scenario. Well, Coach Ford, I think 7-5 is very realistic. And I think if this team goes 7-5, I think it'll be a very solid year. And a lot of it will come down to how'd you win the 7, how'd you lose the 5, and who did you beat? But I think 7-5 would be a solid year. Anyone who calls 7-5 a failure in year 2 is crazy. I understand the Gamecocks are getting a lot of hype for sure, but 7-5, 8-4 is a good year in year 2, man. It is. I think it's a good year. Let's see. Josh Travis, where do you think 8-4 puts Carolina? Well, I picked 8-4. I got the Gamecocks finishing 3rd in the East. So I think 3rd, at worst case 4th. Worst case 4th. Marion R says, is that Coach Danny Ford? No, that's Travis Ford. Coach Ford said, I did too until I found out how loaded we're supposed to be. Coach Ford, who hurt you, Coach Ford? It's too early, Coach Ford. We still got – listen, Coach Ford, in 43 days, you can go full slapdick mode. After we score 31 points against Georgia State, but it's not enough, you can go full slapdick mode. I don't know where this is coming from, Coach Ford. Coach Ford hates the hype. Coach Ford hates the excitement. Coach Ford hates the positive energy and the positive momentum, and he hates it, Coach Ford. Coach Ford, what's wrong? What's wrong, Coach Ford? What's wrong? Who's out there saying we're loaded and going 12-0? Nobody's saying that, Coach Ford. And you know what? If people want to be fired up on social media and excited, why does that bother you, Coach Ford? If I wanted to pick Carolina to go 12-0, why does that bother you? Why does that bother you? I hear you, though. Hey, we need both sides of the spectrum. Where there are fans picking Carolina to win 9 or 10 games, there are Coach Fords of the world that think this is a 5-7 football team. So it is what it is. And listen, I respect it. You need both sides. I try to fall somewhere in the middle. I try to inject perspective. Yes, I'm very excited, but I understand the teams we play and the schedule and the way the ball could bounce. It may not bounce our way. Brendan M. commenting about Coach Ford in the Big Cock Club Discord says, Coach Ford's picking us to go 4-8. I don't know what Coach Ford's picking because he gave me a best case scenario, but he didn't give me a hard prediction. Give me a hard prediction. 6-6? 6-6? I just look at it this way. I know there's a lot of people that say, oh my God, I hate seeing Carolina get the hype. I'd so much rather be the underdog and everybody's doubting us. And I hear you to a degree, but I don't think you should shy away from expectations. We shouldn't shy away from getting love and hype and excitement. Like, if you're getting hype, if you're getting preseason love, like, there's a reason, right? There's a reason for it. That means there are things to be hyped about. And I don't believe that, if you get hype, you play worse, or if you get doubted, you play better. If what the media thinks about you and says, and what I say about you or what we say about the team, if that impacts the team to a point where, we need y'all to talk bad about, rat poison. Bro, if it impacts your team to that level, you're not a very good coach. Your job as a coach is to block all that out, to keep players from reading press clippings and getting comfortable. That's your job. If you can't get your team to lock in and, you show up against Georgia State and you play sloppy, and let's say you win by a field goal. Let's say you win by a touchdown. Don't play well. It's, you're not playing your best and you're attributing it to, well, our guys just got full of themselves. I would point to coaching there and say, well, that was a poor coaching job. You didn't have your team ready to play. So I say bring on the hype, bring on the expectations. Pressure makes diamonds. I love it. I love it, man. Because I'll tell you this. I'm not trying to set unfair expectations on a Shane Beamer and his program, right? It's year 2. We got a long way to go in this thing, in my opinion. I don't know if Coach Ford would agree, but when I've said this many times, when Beamer was hired, I looked at it as a 5-year minimum play. I looked at it as a long-term play. I don't know. I don't think it would have been wise to look at a Coach Beamer hire and say, okay, if you don't have this thing at 10 wins in 3 years, then we just got to go a different direction. With that being said, right, we've talked signature wins before and coaches getting signature wins. Maybe UNC in the bowl game can start to serve as a signature win. But you look at the history of like coaches and Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier, and coaches get that signature win, right, at some point in their tenure that sparks the upward trajectory and sparks what direction the program's going. You look back at Lou Holtz, right? It was beating Georgia in 2000. There were other games in that 2000 season. You look at Steve Spurrier, right? Ole Miss in 2009 really served as like, there's something here. And then, of course, 2010 Alabama, that's the one that kicked the door down. We are here. We have arrived at South Carolina under Steve Spurrier, right? Does that come this year, right? Is there at Arkansas, at Kentucky, beating a Georgia, beating a Georgia? Is there a beating an A&M, beating a Clemson, right? That serves as an early signature win for the program. And Gamecock fans, we all talk a lot about respect, right? And I this is where Coach Ford and I sort of agree, right? Loves hype, need to see it earned. This is what he said in the comments. I agree, right? And you talk about respect. Oh, why are we getting picked 5th in the East? Why is this guy not on a preseason All-SEC team? Why are we not getting more love nationally? Why are we not in the preseason top 25? If you want respect, it's simple. Just go earn it. You got to win games. Go win games. You want respect? Go beat Arkansas week 2. Go win at Kentucky. Like, at some point, for us to get respect, right? For us to get the respect we crave and want and feel we deserve, you've got to have that breakout season, right? Because it's not good enough to go year after year after year and just say, well, we beat the teams we're supposed to, and we lost to the ones we're supposed to. So we had a good year. Well, that's fine if you want to, wallow at 6-6 every year and just go to a bowl game. And that's fine. Whatever. If you just want to do that, cool. But if you want to make a positive jump, at some point you're going to have to win some games you ain't supposed to win. Whether that be in Arkansas, whether that be in at Kentucky, a Tennessee, an A&M, Georgia, Clemson, whatever, right? You're going to have to win some games you're not supposed to win to have that positive breakthrough and start to gain that respect we all crave. So, again, hey, you've lost 7-8 to Kentucky. Hard to give respect to Carolina when you've got the streaks hanging over you that we do. Hard to get respect. Let me go back. Sounds like Jeff Gullidge, I think, maybe had a question. Yeah, Jeff says, I know you don't agree, but there's a reason why some of us feel the Arkansas game is the most important, not the end-all, be-all, but a huge stepping stone. If we win or go toe-to-toe with Arkansas, we'll show progress to the team early versus us getting blown out by Arkansas, and then we have no clue what kind of team we have. Well, Jeff, I would say to your point, I don't call it the most important game, but, it's a game you need to play good, like a competitive game. Like, it's not going to be good enough to go and get blown out by Arkansas. No chance, because I look at that as a toss-up. That should be a close game. So, when I say it's not the most important game, that's not me condoning as well. If you get blown out, it's no big deal. No, you need to play a tight competitive game with them and show progress and show, that's going to be a great early season measuring stick. Hey, you can start 1-2, guys. You can start 1-2 and still have a good year. But if you start 1-2 and you lose to Arkansas by a field goal and you lose to Georgia by 14 or less, that's a lot different than if you start 1-2 and you lose by 21 to Arkansas and 30 to Georgia, right? And that's a totally different vibe, right? That's a totally different vibe. Brian Dean says the feed is frozen. Is that correct? Let me see. I just tried to refresh the feed. Y'all let me know if the feed's messing up. Brian Dean, I don't know if anybody else is experiencing technical issues, if the Muschamp hackers have found their way into our chat somehow. Everything's good on my end. Everything's good on my end. Y'all let me know. Facebook, all right, let's refresh the page here. Okay, we just refreshed it. Y'all let me know. Are we good now? I'm waving. Are we good now? Is the feedback? Are we good? Are we good? Yes? Good. Okay, good. Okay. Do other shows have technical issues? Like, do other shows have hackers? Is this just an us thing? Is this sometimes I sit back and I'll be like, I can't believe people watch my show because it's on a daily basis. I'm like, thank God people don't watch this for unblemished quality at all points because, God, I mean, we deal with, I don't know what it is. If it's me, if it's the Muschamp hackers, we go through it on a daily basis. But back to the point I was making, I look at it this way too. I was talking to a buddy about this the other day. I'll ask you guys this question and I'll go into. Who would you rather beat, Arkansas or Kentucky? Here's my reasoning. I say Kentucky, and here's why. Now, there's pros and cons to both. And this is just a fun hypothetical. Hey, I just say let's beat them both. But fun hypothetical game, right? The pro to beating Arkansas, right, is if you beat Arkansas, you start 2-0. I mean, the hype, the buzz, through the roof, right? There won't be a more fun week of the year leading into a game, most likely, than the week between Arkansas and Georgia if you start 2-0. Because the hype and the buzz, you might get College game day. I would assume at minimum, SEC Nation will be on campus. It will be electric if you beat Arkansas. On the flip side, though, if you do beat Arkansas, let's say you still lose to Georgia, right? You start out 2-1, though. Great start. We'll go ahead and jump to the phone lines here, right in the middle of my spiel.
Rebecca. To accept, press.
Rebecca, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Doing great. It's a Friday, beautiful Friday in the city. And, just fired up, excited, feeling good. So, doing great. Appreciate you asking.
I just thought I'd call in because I know everybody would probably be asking about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's to this point. It's weird when you don't call in, Rebecca. It's weird when you don't call in. Yeah, it's different. It's different. We've become accustomed to you calling in.
Right. I know Wednesday I didn't call in.
You nor Robbie Davis called in. We were shook. We were shook.
I didn't mean to fall asleep on the show or listening to the show.
It's all good. I won't hold it against you.
Well, I didn't mean to. I know John Rice was wanting me to call in, so.
Yeah, John's a great dude. I don't know if John is tuned in right now, but John's an awesome guy. So I know he enjoys your calls immensely.
Right. But anyway, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, are you going to tell Steven Garcia about me and Robbie Davis?
Oh, absolutely. How could I not? How could I not? At this point, I'll be insulted if Steven Garcia doesn't already know about you and Robbie Davis, but I will make sure he knows.
Because I was wanting to know, because I was hoping that you opened the, open the lines up and, let one of us, like me or Robbie Davis, call in and say hi.
Rebecca, I have a question for you. What question would you ask Steven Garcia? If you call in, what question would you ask him? If you can ask him one question and that's it, what would the question be?
Okay. The question would be, what does he think about a Gamecock fan in East Tennessee?
Okay. I'm just curious. I was honestly curious what the question would be.
That's what I would thought he would like to hear that question.
And now I'm curious what his response would be.
That's the reason why I was hoping that we get the call in.
Well, the only thing about it, Rebecca, is that we have very limited time with Mr. Garcia. His time is literally money. Right. His time is literally money. So I will say, though, we'll take questions in the comments. Right? We'll take questions in the comments. So once we finish our conversation towards the end, before we get out of here, I'll say, hey, got one final thing, Steven, got to ask. Rebecca wants to know this. But we will not do calls because honestly, again, we that is a slippery slope because I really feel like the phone lines would be ringing off the hook if we were taking calls while Garcia's as they should be. So.
Yeah, I understand, but I thought, would that be a good birthday present right there? Yeah. But birthday's over with. Let's get on with football season.
Indeed. Yeah, we're all very excited. 43 days till kick. It's crazy. And just 36 days until SEC football begins. Vanderbilt on the island at Hawaii.
Well, the reason why I was going to say is I don't know who brought up baseball earlier on the show. No offense, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know who did that or who brought it up. But I know you love baseball, but what I'm going to say is I think right now nobody gives a damn about baseball. We're mostly ready for football season.
Indeed.
And I'm not saying that to be mean to you. I just thought I'd tell you that because, I don't know who brought up Kingston and all that. I'm like, do we really have to hear this shit about Kingston? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I like to hear more about football season more than anything else. Hopefully, hopefully we do get to ask him questions in the comments and stuff on Monday. You know?
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I mean, that's you guys can definitely do that. It'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Steven Garcia on the airwaves. Like I said, it's going to be by far the best content on the internet every Monday. I mean, it's just going to be golden. I mean, we all know how Steven is, and obviously very knowledgeable of the game and bleeds garnet and black. But you know, he is who he is. He's a legend. So I can't wait. I can't wait. And some people even say that he's my my doppelganger. So love that. Love that. So, Rebecca, we're running into a break. I'm gonna let you go. All right, but like I said, would love for you to comment on Monday, and we'll get your question over to Steven. So.
Yeah, I hope so that we can do that.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure you tell him about me and Robbie Davis.
I will. The legends of this show.
Right.
The king and the queen and the top king and all the hierarchy of the Daily Crow, I guess.
Right. But I'm going to get off here and let you do a break.
All right. Well, Rebecca, I appreciate you. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Have a good weekend.
All right, I will. I hope you do too.
Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate you. Great stuff from Rebecca. 843-790-3377, guys. That's 843-790-3377. Let's see. Gamecock Steve was trying to call in. Gamecock Steve, go ahead. Hit the line. Wide open. Hit the line. Xavier Hill, how about this? 10-2 or 9-3 is what he's got for this year's team. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hey, I love it. From your lips to God's ears, my friend. I tell you what, we go 10-2 this year. The T-Sus bus will become a reality much, much quicker than we all planned. Put it that way. It will become a reality much, much quicker. Yes, guys, on Monday's show, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A in the sense of at the end of the show, we're just not going to take calls.
Gamecock Steve.
Here we go. Gamecock Steve, what's up, man? How are you?
How we doing?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
I want to hear what we think of Mark Ryan in the upstate. My take is he puts out a lot of hot ones, tries to grab the headlines. Not all necessarily maybe true. What are we thinking?
I have no ill feelings to Mark. I like Mark. I go on his show. I got no problem with Mark Ryan. He's in the media business, my friend. And as long as people keep giving him attention for his takes, whether you agree or disagree, hey, I tell people this: you may hate Mark Ryan's guts, but Mark Ryan is very good at what he does, because I ain't seen him have a Gamecock take that Gamecock fans didn't flood his mentions and drive up his impressions and drive up his notifications. And as long as you're doing that, my guy, that's the game. You're winning. You're winning. That's it. Now, you don't want to be known as being a hot take, shock jock, whatever. And he's had plenty of takes I don't agree with, but, you know, if that's what he thinks and that's what he thinks, so be it. So, no, I mean, I like Mark. Mark's a cool dude. Again, here's the thing, my guy. It's just sports. We can agree to disagree on things and still keep it civil and keep it moving. And so the way people feel about Mark Ryan, like they just hate his guts, and, you know, it gets over the top. But no, I got no problems with Mark, man. I've had Mark on my show. I've been on his show plenty of times. And now that I'm up here in Greenville, I actually hit up Mark Ryan was one of the people I hit up. Said, hey, man, let's link up, grab lunch, do something, whatever. And And no, Mark's a cool dude, man. He's good people. And it's funny that people think he's a Clemson guy. He's a Florida fan, dude. He's a Florida alum. He's not a Clemson guy, but he is in Greenville, and I think he knows what drives business. But also, I mean, you listen to their show. They're not really – I mean, they piss off Clemson people too. So that's how you know you're doing it right, when you piss off both sides. So, I mean, I got a lot of love for Mark Ryan, and most of the people I think that you see on social media that are just trolling, they're it's a lot of small-minded people that just cannot have banter without getting all up in their feelings, and so it is what it is. So I got no problem with Mark.
I agree. I think he does a good job grabbing the eyes, and the eyes grab the money. So that leads me to my next point. Do you think that you'll change maybe some of your content to get away from only Gamecock stuff, move into maybe a little more professional, maybe just some other areas where you can start making hot takes to grow your brand? Because he kind of came in quick. And to be honest, I didn't know who he was 2 or 3 years ago. I feel like that's about how long he's been here. But now he's all over the place. And, I mean, you'll see his takes get retweeted by big names because he just has hot ones, right, wrong, and different. He's hitting the eyes. You think you're going to start doing some of that?
I don't, as far as, listen, TSUS, when you tune into TSUS, you have an expectation that it is Gamecock. So I will not stray away from that on this TSUS platform. If I wanted to go to a different platform and talk something else, that'd be different. I created the SEC Unfiltered entity. So I am, at some point very, very soon going to be making a move on a host and someone to create content on that SEC Unfiltered platform. I would like to be a part of that, but where my passion lies is with the Gamecocks. And that's where I found my niche, and that's what I love to do. And so I probably will not venture too much outside of that. What's really cool, though, is, we do talk about anything and everything here on these airwaves. And so if somebody wanted to talk pro sports or talk anything for that matter, we can do it. And so the takes will come. But I want to make it very clear also, I never go out of my way to, well, what's the hottest take possible I can give? You know what I mean? What's a take I can give that's going to generate a lot of clicks? Because that's phony, that's fake, and you can sniff that bullshit from a mile away. If I was doing that, you would know. You would know. So I don't do that. I don't do that on a daily basis. I don't look at, a prediction or just anything. My thought process is this: be real, be genuine. I try to remove as much fandom as I can and not have on garnet glasses and see things for what they are, not what I wish they were. And when you give thousands of takes and thousands, oh, hold on one second. Okay, we just went out there for a second. But when you give thousands of takes and opinions, there's going to be some that people don't agree with and that some people would call a quote-unquote hot take. It happens organically. So, I don't have to try to give hot takes. Hey, there's been some takes that I thought were maybe hot takes that people all agreed with. And there's been some takes that I thought, this is a no-brainer, I'm going to say this, and people thought it was a hot take. So the best way to go about it, man, if I was giving advice to someone, my suggestion, again, keep it real, keep it genuine, keep it authentic, stay true to yourself, and, push out immense content and immense amounts of value, and the content will take care of itself. You know what I mean? But I don't, I know that when you look at First Take on ESPN or, what Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp do, that, those shows are specifically designed to where you're like, okay, you're going to be on this side of the argument and you're going to be on this side of it. And because that does numbers, right? That's just not how I operate, though. I don't look at it as well, how can I spin this and have the hottest take possible, right? That's not how I operate. So, and I wouldn't suggest really anybody to operate that way because, again, when you keep it real and genuine and authentic, you don't have to think back and say, well, what did I say in that moment? What did I think? That's how you get messed up with content. Again, I really believe in the consumer, and the end consumer, they can sniff that bullshit out a mile away. You know what I mean? They can sniff out people that aren't real and genuine and authentic and are just saying things for clicks and for views and all that. So, you know what, man? It happens naturally. It happens organically. I don't know. Sometimes I think I have a gift that I just piss off Gamecock fans or just piss off people. And I mean, it is what it is, bro. It's all good. We just keep it moving.
I'll leave you with my favorite Spurs Up Show moment. It's going to be you walking out of that stadium, or about Will Muschamp looking about fire engine red.
Yeah. So for a lot of people, that will be the image that lives on forever. And hey, it was a monumental moment in the history of the business. And I don't know, maybe I ought to get that picture framed in the studio or something. Because hey, you are right. That's an image that'll probably live on forever. So I love it. I embrace it.
I love it. Be easy, brother.
Appreciate it, Gamecock Steve. Take care, my friend. Thank you so much. Great stuff. Hey, great memories, right? Great memories. Guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into that quick break I was talking about earlier, but I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls as well. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Appreciate you all tuning in. Working on right now, Amazon getting a new bookshelf up here in the stew. We're going to be doing a lot of work in the studio this weekend. Brian Dean, we got 14 starters returning. Phil Steele's Gamecock Outlook. Beamer did a great, we've done all this. We had Phil Steele on the show. I mean, yeah. Phil, I'll tell you this though about Phil Steele's outlook, and I like Phil a lot. I do like Phil a lot. Phil is a guy that I don't think he wants to piss off any fan base, right? Because he wants everybody to buy his magazine. Like flat out. He wants everyone to buy his magazine, okay? But he does a good job, and he does shoot it straight. And I like having Phil on the show, and I appreciate Phil, and look forward to continuing to having Phil on the airwaves. Let's see. Cody says, how do you make Gamecock fans mad when you speak the truth? They aren't true fans. They get mad. Well, and listen, you have an opinion. Not everybody's going to agree with it. Some people don't like the way I go about it. Some people think I'm a little aggressive with the things I say or my abrasive nature. Or some people, the truth hurts and they just don't want to hear when you talk, even if it's the truth, right? Even if it's the truth. For example, and I don't mean to pick on him, and I love this guy, Luke RJ, right? Who's in our Big Cock Club, right? We have conversations about South Carolina football and the history of Carolina football, right? And what I like about Luke RJ is he's a guy that I feel like he does not take it personally. We can have banter and everything be cool, right? That's how it should be. You should be able to have banter back and forth. And even if you disagree, right? It's like, okay, we still bleed Garnet and Black. We're both pulling for the same team. But we can have a conversation, and I'll just be totally honest about, let's say, the history of Carolina football. And it might be the truth. It is the truth. But it makes the truth a lot of times makes people uncomfortable. It makes folks uncomfortable, dude. And they don't like hearing it. They want to live in ignorance is bliss. They want to live in not seeing the reality. They do, right? Guys, I was having this conversation the night with my good buddy Kemper, right, in downtown Greenville. Imagine if media folk, the folks you refer to as media that are in this box, this media box, imagine if they were all honest. 247 and Rivals would go out of business, right? Because they wouldn't be able to sell you hope. Because here's what 24/7 and Rivals tell you. And I am not saying what I'm about to say to be big bad Chris and be negative. I'm just telling you the truth, right? If they were honest, here's what they'd tell you. Because right now what they do is this. Have you ever heard of getting a commit and the service is going, okay pickup. He might be a little bit small for his position, not all that fast, might be a role player, but not a great pickup for South Carolina. He probably won't play. Have you ever heard them do that? No. Every 3-star is a diamond in the rough, and every 4 or 5-star is the next great thing and is going to play in the NFL and do all that, right? Every recruit's great. Every recruit. And I've learned that the hard way. Not to speak on, I'd say, realities, right? I'd say speak on realities. Got like an itch on my face. Speak on realities when it comes to recruits, right? I've learned that. I've learned not to do that. But when it comes to the reality and the truth, blue chip ratio is a thing. And if your blue chip ratio is not at a certain point, guess what, guys? You're not going to compete for championships. If they were honest, truthful, people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that, right? But it's the truth. It's the truth about the level you have to recruit at. Your results on the field, damn near a direct correlation of your recruiting. If South Carolina gets to a point where they're winning 10 games under Shane Beamer a year, guys, we'll be able to directly look at it and go, well, it's because recruiting changed. Recruiting elevated. Recruiting has to elevate before on-field results elevate. It ain't backwards. It ain't backwards. Now, you've got to win a little bit more and do more with less to attract the top talent. But if South Carolina gets to a point where they're winning an SEC championship, guys, it ain't going to be because Shane Beamer is some miracle worker, okay? It's going to be because you're going to be able to look directly at recruiting rankings and say, the recruiting changed. The recruiting elevated. And as the recruiting elevated and went on an upward trajectory, so did Carolina football. So the reality is this, and we've recruited well enough to compete. We have recruited well enough to compete, right? You look at all the classes Muschamp brought in. You look at Beamer's class last year, 25th. We've recruited at a top 25 clip for what feels like forever. And as long as you're at a top 25 clip, you're recruiting well enough, in my opinion, to win 7-8 games a year. But when we're talking championships, SEC title, you got to recruit at a higher level. You just have to, because it comes down to Jimmy's and Joe's. It does. But that's the truth of it all, right? The truth will bother people. The truth bothers people. The truth hurts. Luke RJ, and I was just using that conversation as an example. But Luke, you know it's true. Our football tradition and history stinks. We're not defined by it. That's the beautiful part. It doesn't matter. I don't care how many games we won in 1970. Who cares? I wasn't even alive. And guess who else doesn't care? Guess what the best part about it is about our football history and tradition or lack thereof? Guess who else doesn't care? Recruits. They don't care how many that you won a national title in 1950. Why do they care? They don't care. So that's the positive of it. But it is the reality and the truth that the tradition stinks, that the record stinks, that Carolina football for a long, long, long time hadn't been worth a damn. But we're not defined by it. That's the beautiful thing. We're not defined by it. And as I talked about this the other night, the Big Cock Club Discord, when we were on our, we were doing a little bit of a live deal. Guys, here's some positive perspective. Do you all realize we are in the midst, let's just say since 2000, we're in the midst of the greatest 20-year run in South Carolina football history. Like, these are the good times of Carolina football. I still remember vividly, when I first became a diehard fan in late 2002, early 2003, I remember how big of a deal it was just to get to 6 wins. Like 2004, when we beat Arkansas, Savell Newton to Troy Williamson, Coach Simpson seals it with the pick. We beat Arkansas and got to 6. That was like we won the freaking Super Bowl. That was a big deal. Dude, now it's at minimum expected. At minimum. Right? We are living in the midst of the greatest era of South Carolina football ever. And you can say that's sad, you can say that, but it's the reality. When you look back at South Carolina football in the decades and the decades and the decades and the decades, and this is the greatest era ever. So wake up and smell the roses, folks. We're not defined by our history and tradition or lack thereof. But what I'd tell Luke, RJ, and everybody else, it is wise to keep it in mind just so you have perspective moving forward, So that's why, like, when you're picking Carolina this season we're just going to go 9-3. Do you understand how few at times South Carolina has won 9 games in a season? Do you really understand how big of a deal that would be? Because Carolina ain't had a lot of 9-win seasons, my guy. They haven't. We have not. But we're not defined by our past. We're not. Thank goodness we're not. Boy, Cody getting real philosophical on me. We're not defined by our history. We're defined by our future. Let's see. Luke RJ, Florida, Mizzou, Tennessee, and Kentucky will make or break this season. We need to beat those teams regularly to get where we want to be. Those 4 programs who we battle with in the East year to year. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would say Kentucky and Mizzou are the priority of those 2 because I think we need to beat them on a yearly basis. And then, yeah, but Tennessee, Florida, I mean, you're talking about SEC East hierarchy? Yeah. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, Luke RJ. Those 4 swing games, because those are the 4 right there that are fighting to get to where Georgia is, you know? And so after Georgia, it's like, where do the chips fall? Which of these programs are surging? Which of these programs are stagnant? Which of these programs are declining? Well, South Carolina, we obviously want to be on that surging wave. And you can say that's fair or unfair, but you know what? On-field results, that's what defines it. That's what defines who's headed in the right direction. Let's see. I dig music. Problem is, even with a top 25 class, we have 7 or so teams on the schedule who are still ahead in recruiting rankings. They are. I mean, they are. I dig music, but I think, again, as long as you're recruiting top 25 classes, I mean, if you're finishing 0.0 freaking 5 behind somebody in the composite, like, how much? Let me ask you this: I dig music. How much difference is there the 20th ranked class and the 18th ranked class? What difference does it make? Right? What difference does it really make? Let's see. Brian Dean, make the trip to Cross. What is Cross? Where is Cross? What do you mean Cross? What is Cross? I'm confused. I'm a little confused. Anyways, guys, phone lines are open. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Mike V on Twitter. I'm going to take this question real quick. He says, what is the Gamecocks' ceiling? I agree. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance. I know in the trenches we won't match at the best, but I don't feel like there's a game we couldn't win, you know? So what's your take? Now, when you're talking best case and worst case, guys, it's important you understand this is realistic best case and worst case. You can't just say, well, 12-0, 0-12. Well, no duh, right? Anything can happen. But realistically, what's the best case and the worst case? So for this conversation, the best case scenario, what's the ceiling for the Gamecocks this year? I agree. You know, Spencer Rattler has the Steve Spurrier effect. And what I mean by that is this. When Steve Spurrier was gracing the sidelines at South Carolina, it didn't matter who we were playing, how big of an underdog we were. We felt like we had a chance every Saturday because of that guy on the sideline. He'll out-coach him. He'll out-scheme him. He'll have us ready to go. The HBC gives us a shot in every game we play. Spencer Rattler, in my opinion, he serves in that same way where it's like, you know what? They might be more talented than us. They might be a better team than us top to bottom, but we've got a guy in the center that if it's his day, if he goes off, we got a shot. We got a shot. This just might be one of those special afternoons, kind of like how Steven Garcia had against Alabama back in 2010. Okay? With that being said, South Carolina's not going to win every single football game. Duh. Okay? The schedule's too tough. Everybody else, for the most part in the SEC, got better too. You trade out Auburn for a road date at Arkansas. You still got to play Clemson every year. You still got to play Georgia and A&M, right? Let's jump to the phone lines
Call
here.
from
Justin, what's up, man? How are you?
How you doing, Chris? Doing okay today, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Hey Chris, it was a tough day yesterday. I feel bad for Phil Petty. He was a great guy, you know.
Oh yeah, Phil Petty. No, it's tough, man. Just awful news, tragic. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Hey Chris, one thing I can admit about Phil Petty, he was a good leader for the Gamecocks, and he done everything the right way, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, an excellent leader, tough as nails. Just tragic, sad, man. Just really, really sad, and yeah, we miss him. We miss him. It's tough. I hope I expect they will do something this season to remember him, and it's just a tragic loss.
Yeah. Hey Chris, and one thing about Phil Petty, that if you could go back to 1999, it was a straight race, you know.
Oh, 1999? Yeah, I mean, dude, anybody who went through that 0-11 season and went to the games and all that, you deserve a trophy, my friend. You are a real Gamecock if you went through 0-11 in person. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and Chris, back in 1999, we had used 6 different quarterbacks, you know.
Yeah. Phil Petty took a beating that season, so yep, crazy.
Yep. And Chris, and then next year, 2000, we told things around. And 2000 was not a lot of expectations for the Gamecocks, you know.
Yeah, no, there were obviously there were no expectations, and for those guys to do what they did, and the greatest turnaround in college football history, and yeah, really awesome stuff. Really, really awesome stuff.
Yep. And Chris, after Phil Petty graduated, Lou Holtz was trying to do like he tried to do Sylvain Newton and John Deere Pickens. He was trying to be like the next Tory Wise, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then after that, that was nothing he could do. It fell apart, you know.
Yeah, just fell apart. Yeah, I don't know it, but without Holtz, there's no Spurrier, and obviously extremely grateful for what Holtz did for Carolina football.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Chris, those were the good days. They were the bad days, you know.
Yeah. Like I said, it's we all remember Phil Petty fondly, and just really sad. So prayers to the Petty family.
Yeah, my heart goes to them, you know, Chris.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, before I go, man, I was listening to Vanderbilt's coach, Colt Lee, the other day. He said, we're going to try to get Vanderbilt back. We're going to try to get Vanderbilt back. What we're going to do, you know. And I just kind of said, you need to slow down, you know.
Yeah, Clark Lee, man, I love it. I love it though. I like Clark Lee. I don't know. I say I've got a soft spot for Vandy, but maybe it's because they haven't beaten us in over a decade. Yeah, I mean, dude, I love. Hey, listen, I love it. Be bold, be bold, right? You got to speak it into existence before it can happen. You have to manifest it. So, I believe in the power of manifestation. So,
yeah, because I like Colt Lee, man, but he's gonna do some great things at Vanderbilt. It's gonna take some time, but you got to win your SC game first before you jump the gun, you know.
For sure. Yeah.
But that was the speech. I never hear Colt Lee say that. Never, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I was touched with Shane Beaver too, you know, Chris.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Shane Beamer was awesome at media days. He was awesome. Awesome, man. I loved it.
Oh yeah. Hey, Chris, everybody asking why you wear the sunglasses, why?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I dude, listening to Beamer's intoxicating, man. He always crushes the podium and crushes media days, and every time he speaks, we all listen, and it's just can't wait for kickoff, man. It's about that time. So 2 weeks from today, fall camp will begin. So it's almost here.
Oh yeah. Hey, Chris, I love Shane Beaver because he always gives these speeches, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
God might least, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, how you compare Shane Beaver and Motley's speeches?
How do you say what now?
How you compare Mike Leach to Shane
Mike Leach is a clown, dude. I mean, he's funny, but he's a clown. He had a 7-word opening statement. I mean, he's funny. It would be fun to cover him from a content perspective. I would not want him leading my football program.
Yeah, me neither, Chris. I want Shane to lead my football program, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of enjoy these fun moments, you know, with these coaches, you know.
Yeah, you know, I love media days. I think media days is a blast, getting to hear from the coaches, and you know, it's the unofficial kickoff to football season. Really, man, it's here now. You know, it's here now. So, before you know it, we're gonna have NFL preseason going on, and yeah, man, it's that time. I mean, we've obviously already been getting after it, but it's really that time now. So.
Oh yeah, Chris, I wait for some NFL, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, well, Chris, that's all I have to say, man.
Justin, I appreciate the call as always, my friend. Have a great weekend. If you need anything, let me know. But no, I always appreciate you, man. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
You too, Chris. Go get talk to you before season starts.
Absolutely, man. Take care, Justin. We'll talk soon.
You too.
All right, man. Great stuff from Justin. 843-790-3377. I guess we'll just roll into the final. It's too late for a break. Too late for a break. So we'll just roll into it, guys. Final 7 minutes or so here on the Daily Crow. By the way, guys, check out the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 678. We do take a moment to remember Phil Petty and all of the great things he did in Garnet and Black. Here we go. We'll go ahead and jump to the phone lines. Phone lines are ringing off the
Walker.
hook. Hey!
To accept.
Walker, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, bro. You are a celebrity now. I was sitting there watching Paul Feinbaum, and I heard you call in, and I was like, holy smokes, that's our guy, Walker. So, hey, you crushed it. I know I texted your dad, obviously, but you absolutely crushed it. And I am very happy to hear you call into our show, my friend. What's going on?
Good. I'm good, and thank you for that. That was that was pretty crazy. I don't know if you were watching after, but the fact that he brought that up to Beamer, that was just crazy.
Yeah, dude, I did see that. I did see him bring that up to Beamer, and then Beamer also mention you and give you your props. So, hey, that was awesome, dude. You should be proud of that.
Thank you. So what I wanted to talk about is I think they I forgot exactly who made it, but there was rankings that came out today for the SEC East. There was one thing that came out on who's going to win first place, and another thing that was like the standings that are projected. I can't remember who. It might have been. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, the media dropped their preseason poll, and it was they had Georgia winning the East. Yeah, followed by Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, Carolina, Mizzou, and Vandy in the East.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it might have been SEC Network. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. But so I think we had 3 votes to win the SEC East, and then that was second. I mean, other than Georgia, that was second to I think Tennessee or Kentucky. Maybe?
Kentucky had 4. Yeah, we had the third most votes to win the East. We also though had the third most votes to win the SEC championship. Bama had 158, Georgia had 18, and then we had 3. A&M had 1, and Vanderbilt somehow had 1. So Vanderbilt did have 1. I don't know if the guy wrote it in crayon or what happened, but Vanderbilt, yes, had 1 vote to win the East and had 1 vote to win the SEC championship, believe it or not. I don't know whoever it was should have to come out and say it was them.
Yeah, I think the reason we are number 3 on winning the SEC is probably because we are a big boomer bust type. Not saying that, if we don't win 10 games, it's a bust for the year. No, what I'm saying is that say Rattler's what everybody thought he was, and Antoine Wells is as good as expected. Jaheim Bell is one of the best tight ends, and Cam Smith lives up to what some of the prospects are saying he is, which is number one cornerback, then yeah, I could see us having a chance. But that is a very big if, and that's a lot of players. And the linebacker has to live up to, some type of expectations. But what I wanted to say is not about that, which was I don't get the hype around Florida. I think the reason people are putting so much respect on Florida's name is because historically they are a very great program. But last year we beat them by 23 with Jason Brown was our quarterback that game, right?
Indeed. Yep. Jason Brown got the start in that one.
Yeah, we smoked Florida, and people will say, okay, well, they probably, they had a very good off season. I think we ranked in the top 10 for sure. I know this for a fact. We ranked in the top 10 for sure in transfer rankings. So we were in the top 10. Florida was 19th. I just looked that up. And Florida was ranked 17th in the recruiting rankings, and we were ranked 24th. I'm sorry, but I don't think 7 rankings above in recruiting, and by the way, we are 10 ahead in transfers, makes up for a 23-point deficit and a big-time comeback in wins and losses.
Yeah, I think, Walker, you make a great point about the history and the tradition, and I think it's I guess I wasn't totally shocked. I mean, it is weird, right, to see South Carolina picked a slot below Florida, and the Gamecocks have the third most picks to win the SEC title, and they have 3 votes to win the East. Florida got 0 in both categories.
Yeah,
little bit of a lazy take, to be honest with you. It's a little bit of a lazy pick just to dismiss South Carolina the way you do, or not you, but the way they do, and put the Gamecocks 5th. And as I said, I've said before, and I said earlier today, it's I guess if you want respect, you got to go win. And I understand, beating. We beat the hell out of Florida last year, and so it's like, why are we not getting that love? Hey, just go beat them again. Go beat them again, because I don't think Florida's going to be great either, Walker. I think Florida's one of the biggest question marks and mysteries this season. And the only thing I caution Gamecock fans is this: the way we're looking at Florida right now is the same way Florida looked at us at this time last year. Oh, they got a first-year head coach. They're not going to be any good. We got them on our home field. We're going to stomp them. I don't look at that game as a kick-in win, but when I look at toss-ups, that Florida game to me is one that you look at and say, you did what you did last year. Florida's not going to be great. They're going to be figuring out under Billy Napier. I think a lot of that game is going to come down to how far along is Florida and how much have they figured out to that point, because the game is later in the season. But it's a game I think we all look at. You ask any Gamecock fan, hey, are you expecting to beat Florida? And we say yes, especially after last year, and especially after you mentioned the upgrades and everything else. But, I think a lot of the picks, Walker, when it comes to the media, I think some of the picks are lazy, and they look at a Florida and say, well, it's who do you want to give the benefit of the doubt to? And media heads and media types, they're going to give the benefit of the doubt to the team that has the history and tradition. They'll say, well, why do you think Florida is going to be good this year? Why will Florida finish ahead of South Carolina? And I bet a lot of those guys that wrote in that poll, they'll say, well, just because they always do, which is a lazy take, but it is what it is. And that's why it's a preseason poll, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But like you mentioned, man, all the recruiting rankings and, who South Carolina brought in and who Florida brought in and what Florida's got going on, a little bit of a disarray. I do think South Carolina has more knowns right now, and that's why I picked the Gamecocks to beat them this season. Also, to your point, before I get you out of here, because I know we're running up against 2 o'clock, whatever, I like your point about the boomer bust thing, and I understand what you're saying. You're not saying that, South Carolina can't just go 7-5, but like South Carolina is a team that, if we want to put on our garnet glasses for just a moment, if it all clicked and all the question marks you have turn into answers that you like, right? Yeah, right. Then it could be a special season. It could turn into a 9-3 year. Is it realistic to expect every question mark to be, the ball to bounce your way in every facet? It's not, right? That's just normally that doesn't happen. There are some one-off cases, but normally it doesn't happen. But I do agree with you that the upside for South Carolina and the ceiling could be higher than some others, just because of, you've got guys like Spencer Rattler and Wells and others that you added that if they pan out, and again, the ball bounces your way, and, big things could happen. So I think you make a great point there as well.
I also do have a question. So I was seeing all over Twitter yesterday that Corey Rucker was isn't he a nominee for the Biletnikoff?
Biletnikoff, yes. Yes. Yep. That came in yesterday.
I was wondering, are Josh Van and Antoine Wells not on that list, or have they just already been there for so long?
Yeah, they were not. I guess that's what I was saying earlier. I don't know exactly how the preseason watch lists go, if the names have to be submitted or how they're put together. That was what surprised me. I was happy Rucker made it, but I was shocked that a Wells or a Van didn't get mentioned. Again, I don't know exactly what goes in. Today the John Mackey Award watch list, which we'll be posting to social media here shortly, that was announced, and that award is given annually to the top tight end in college football. And both Jaheim Bell and Austin Stogner were named to that watch list. So, I was surprised. I was surprised to not see Van and Wells. I don't look at that, though, and say, well, they weren't on the list, so they're not any good. I think of it more as like, dang, Corey Rucker must be a pretty solid player. So,
yeah,
you're going to have weapons on the outside this year.
Yeah, can they still work their way in through the season,
to the watch list? I mean, anybody can win the award. I think anybody can win the award, right? Anybody can win the award. It's the watch list, though, are they're just a way, I think, to generate buzz and hype around the award and names. But anybody, I mean, if you ball out and go win it, right? It's anybody can win it. So it's really what it is, Walker. It's just it's this time of year where everybody needs content, everybody needs something to talk about, and so hey, I love it. It's for what I do, it's great. So, and for us as fans, and seeing stuff like that, it's just a lot of fun and a talking point. And it builds the buzz and excitement going into the season.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, I think mostly everybody expects Van to be the number one and Wells to be the number two, or they could. They're probably going to be the number one and number two option.
1A, 1B, I would say. I think it's 1A, 1B with Van and Wells.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for having me on, and go have a great rest of your day.
Walker, I appreciate it, man. Please call in anytime. Everybody loves hearing from you. Another fantastic call as always. You have a great weekend, my friend, and hope to talk to you on Monday. So.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Take care, Walker.
Bye.
Good stuff. Great way to go into the weekend. Fantastic way to go into the weekend. Walker, sincerely, thank you. And like I said, please call in anytime. Walker, slowly but surely, I think he's only called in this show twice, but slowly but surely making his way up the TDC Hall of Fame. I mean, truly, the Caller Hall of Fame. Incredible stuff. Guys, that's going to do it. Hey, we're past 2 o'clock, but when you got a call like that, you can go past 2 o'clock. Either way, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Check out the podcast that dropped this morning as we remember Phil Petty, and also, of course, our opponent preview series rolls on as we talk the Georgia Bulldogs, the Gamecocks Week 3 opponent. Other than that, stay tuned to all the content bleeding out the eyeballs, and also stay tuned for these bad boys to drop on the store within the next 20, 30 minutes or so. Guys, thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Y'all have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday.